Three, two, one, and we're live. Just doing a little homage to Joe Rogan there. Limor, Shane Monahan back with my podcast, Mono we Mono. I didn't even check to see what episode this is. I think it's episode 4 or 5. It's been a while. But I'm happy to say I have my neighbour, grew up in the same laneway as me in Ireland, Thomas Mulligan, who is back home visiting. He currently lives in the States. He's trailblazing in the world of golf. He's on a scholarship over there, and he's going to be the next Rory McIlroy. Hopefully from High Road, Mornington. So instead of me going on about, I'll let you introduce yourself and we'll just get stuck in.
Yeah, no, delighted to first podcast. Yeah, so this will be something new that I haven't done before, but it's always nice to get something new under your belt. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And we're having a nice cup of tea here in the Christmas surroundings. You're back. How long are you back now from America?
I got home last Monday, so I'm back coming up nearly on 2 weeks now. But I'm home for a month over Christmas and then straight back over and back into the grind when I get back. So
yeah, we met up yesterday and we probably should have recorded that conversation. We were saying we're down into the whole politics thing, the Trump angle, which we won't get into today. But you're well used to. You're saying last time we met, you were still kind of getting used to the American life and on that side of the world, and you're kind of settled in there.
Yeah, no, it's just there's a lot of stuff. I suppose it's what everything that if you're working hard at anything, it's a lot of time management, and when I first went over, it was just time management was a bit off because it was just hard. You'd fallen asleep in random places and you just don't know what's what at the start. But then I don't know, this year you just kind of know like where to put an emphasis on your time and what you need to do to be kind of successful in every avenue you go down, as opposed to just kind of running here and there and not getting as much done. Do you know what I mean?
And I certainly do. And before we go down that route, if you let everyone know exactly why you're in the States, where you're in the States, and what you hope to achieve while you're over
there. So I'm on a golf scholarship. I'm playing for the University of Oregon it's on the west coast of America, for anyone who doesn't know, which is probably most people. But yeah, no, it's on the west coast of America, so I'm based about an 8-hour drive north of San Francisco. And I'm just over there playing golf. For me, it was the best avenue to go. After school, I could have turned pro, but I decided that there was more kind of competition and challenge in America. With the college, all the good professional golfers, any professional golfer you've heard of has come through the American college system pretty much. Even Rory McIlroy was going to, but he turned pro early. He was a superstar when he was 15 and 16, but like Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, anyone you can think of has pretty much went through that college system, and it's kind of a breeding ground for like top class professionals. So it's the best avenue for success in my sport. So that's why I decided to go that way.
And what age are you now?
19.
19. So you're only a pup. and so you are there almost a year and a half, if I'm correct in saying that. And go back a little bit into how you got into golf in the first place, and when did you know, right, I want to do this, I want to be a professional golfer?
I got into golf when I was a kid. I was 4 or 5 years old. Dad played golf, and the golf club's just down the road, so I just kind of got into it that way. Dad was friends with the pro, so he used to let me play, even though there's an age limit down in the golf club, but he kind of let me go in and play, even though I wasn't really at the age yet. But that's how I started out, and then kind of when I was like 13, 14, I had to make kind of a choice. I was playing loads of different sports growing up, like every Irish lad is, it's just kind of hectic. I was playing Gaelic and rugby, and my mum has horses. I was with them.
You play rugby as well, did you?
Yeah, I played rugby in
Boyne. Yeah. Good man.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Boyne RFC.
But so I grew up playing like every sport under the sun, but I just had to make a choice when I was 13. I said, I'll focus on golf, and that was kind of when I started really putting a lot of effort into it. 12, 13 years old, I started putting a lot more effort into it. and because you need to, as you know, you need to put effort in from a young age if you want to be kind of good at sport these days. It's so competitive. But when I was like 15, probably was when I decided, like, it's a young age to decide what you want to do with your life. But I was just that was when I decided that I wanted to pursue golf to definitely to a college level. Anyway, that was when I kind of made the decision that I wanted to go to college in the States, because it's just it's the best avenue for that. And so that was when I kind of decided to do that, and that was pretty much where the same decision was to turn pro then after that at some point. So
sorry if there's anyone wondering what that squelching is in the background. It's Mussolini the pug is here with us scratching his ear.
yeah.
So yeah, 15, like as you said, like I kind of have experience with this. I have experience with this as well. Like it was when I was 12 when I made a decision, and I think, I don't know if you found this, I found it actually helped me as a person at actually knowing where I want to go and what I want to do. Like I think that's an issue a lot of people, younger people, have today, because there's so many options, they don't actually know what they want to do.
Yeah, no, definitely. For me, like, it's not even so much like, even if you didn't end up doing that, like if I gave up golf in the morning for some reason and decided not to do it, like, it's brought me to a lot of places that I wouldn't have gotten to without it. And that kind of mindset, it keeps you focused and it keeps you kind of driven throughout your childhood. Like, I think sport is great for that, but knowing what you want, like, it's very hard. Like, if you want to be a doctor, like, it's not as if you can kind of like strive towards that when you're 12 years old. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's
alright, come on.
It's
sorry.
The dog went up on the
lap.
lap.
Up in the lap, so.
But yeah, no, it's just one of them things with sport that you kind of have that ability to really nippling and snorting away here.
You're distracting and you're putting us off. So back to so you're 15. You said, right, I want to be a golfer. Does it work similar in the golf as it does in the rugby in terms of there's representative with Leinster, Ireland?
Yeah. So that was when around the same age, I was 14, 15, I got onto I played for Leinster and Ireland when I was younger as well, but like when I was 14, 15, I got onto the Leinster 18s team and the Ireland 18s team. So I was playing a lot out of my age group at that point. Like, I was playing with guys that, like, I was making the Irish team. There was like a 10-man team or a 6-man team when I was 15, and everyone else was kind of 17, 18 at that point. So I knew I was kind of a bit ahead of the curve at that point. Do you know what I mean? So that was when I kind of realised, and then I got on the Leinster men's team when I was 15 again. So
wow.
So like, I was playing with adults when I was only 15. So that was when I realised kind of I had that, I don't know what you say, I wouldn't call it talent, because I don't really think like you have to put in enough.
Je ne sais quoi.
Yeah. Well, like, I had enough ability to maybe do well with it. So yeah, that was when I kind of realised, I played with Leinster and Ireland for growing all the way up.
And as you said, how do you start the process from going from, right, you made a decision earlier on, right, I want to go do the collegiate route.
Yeah.
How do you start that process?
For me, it helped. My parents were great. They, like, you have to get known. It's not good enough to be on an Irish level. You need to be on a European level to get recognised by colleges in America, because you're not in America. Like, I mean, the same quality of golfer in America would be far easier recognised, but you need to stand out even a lot more because you're not from America. So the coach has to put a lot more into you just to get you over to America. Do you know what I mean? So he has to be really sure. So you have to really stand out to get picked. So my parents, like, we kind of came to the decision. We decided to play a lot more European events. We played tournaments in France and Italy and Spain and stuff, and from 15, 16 on, like, played pretty much exclusively tournaments like that. And then I happened to do well in a lot of them, and so then my rankings and stuff, like, went up. And the year before I went to college, I was the number 2 ranked player for my age in Europe, which was, it's one of them, like, it's that ranking system that, like, you wouldn't maybe get on if you didn't take them early steps of playing in them tournaments. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's very easy to be the best player in Ireland or whatever at your age group and never take the step to try. Do you know what I mean? You never take that kind of, that next step into
big fish in a small pond.
Exactly. Yeah. And then you don't really get it. So then the colleges, once I got my rankings up and I was playing well in all these European events, like, the colleges then came and they recruited me, and they I was talking to a lot of different colleges, and which was great then because I got offered full scholarships, which you need to have in America with the price of education over there now and stuff. So I got offered full scholarships from a lot of colleges, and I narrowed it down to a few that I wanted to go visit, and I visited them and talked to the coaches and stuff, and I ended up picking Oregon mainly because of the coach. I got on well with the coach. I thought he was very just a driven kind of personality, which I liked.
What's his name?
Casey Martin is his name. He's ex PGA Tour pro, but he's kind of most famous for he won a civil like a case in the Supreme Court against, he sued the PGA Tour because he has always had a problem with his leg, like he's disabled, and he won a disability case against the PGA Tour. He was allowed to play golf in a buggy.
Oh, wow.
Because he couldn't walk 18 holes at the time. He was in too much pain to walk 18 holes, so the PGA Tour said walking was an integral part of the sport, but he took them to court and won his case, and so he was allowed to play golf in a buggy on the PGA Tour, the first person ever. And so he played in the tour for 3 years, I think. But that was what he was famous for, was being like the first kind of disabled golf. He made big kind of ground for like disabled golf and
that's pretty cool, isn't it?
disabled people in sports in general.
And just on that whole, I'm very interested in that, maybe because I'm a fan of Jerry Maguire, the whole agency thing and going after and headhunting, like, how does that work? Like, did you have an agent looking after you? Was it your parents? Or
No, there is like, I done it a very similar way to the way like an American would do it, because I got that kind of my ranking up so high that colleges were looking at me, if you know what I mean. So I mean, I sent out a few emails and stuff, but like overall most colleges were looking at me in the same way, because they got to know like who I was from my results. Maybe not who I was personally, but they saw my results week in, week out, just like they've seen someone living in California's results. Do you know what I mean? Whereas a lot of people in Europe, and if you're not living in the States even, if you want to get recruited like that, it's more you do sign up to an agency and you pay them a fee, and they kind of contact colleges. They kind of have ins with different coaches, and they say like, look, this fella's like, they tell the coach about the player that they have that's paying them to do that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is a way in for a lot of people, but I think the best way to do it is to do it yourself. I done it myself. My parents, I mean, they kind of let me at it, you know.
I think what's good about that is it is purely your talent that got you in, and not I know such and such, you know, which listen, the world does work like that. If you can get help and people open doors, it's always helpful. You got to do what you got to do, but it's your talent at the end of the day. You know, you'll be on the golf course, not your agent.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have to get the results. So I remember speaking to you at the time, talking to your dad, asking him how it was going, and some of the stories of the colleges you were. They've like private jets, and it's a different level over there, isn't it?
It's crazy. Like, you'd think like college golf, like you'd think it's not even like. I mean, if you've seen some of the resources that like teams have, it's ridiculous. For the golf team, never mind the football team. Like the football team is, you might as well be a superstar, like you're a celebrity then at that point. But like even with the golf teams, like the standard of training and the effort they put into it is very American.
Yeah.
If you get what I'm saying, it's very big and it's very loud, and there's a lot of money putting into it. They don't do things by halves, you know what I mean? Whereas if it was here, it's like, oh, we can save a few pound here and we can save a few pound there, and the Americans don't really care about that kind of idea. They just want the best and everything, and they definitely have that attitude with college sports. Well, all the colleges I was talking to, like there is, I mean, but a lot of the big colleges have that kind of attitude. It's just spend it all.
Yeah, well that's it. If you have it, spend it.
Yeah.
But like talking about the rankings and you know American golfers versus European. Listen, I enjoy watching golf. I enjoy playing it badly every so often. But I wouldn't be any expert. But from what I've read and from what I've heard, Irish golfers have a very good reputation in America and around the world.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's just European golfers in general have a good reputation. I mean, if you look at the rankings of the best players in the world, it is majority American because they've got the best facilities maybe, but you see every year in the Ryder Cup, Europe wins it predominantly, and that's there's a lot of things that come into that, you know, but Europe, there's a different breeding in golf over here. Like if you grow up in Ireland and you're playing golf every day, you're playing golf in wet weather, you're playing golf in windy weather, it's cold, you know, it's everything is just hard. So once you get to a place where it's not anymore, it becomes a lot easier. Do you know what I mean? Whereas in America, a lot of people are in California or they're in Texas or Florida, and it's perfect weather year round. You know what I mean? They get up in the morning, put on shorts and go play golf, and there's no wind, and it's ideal. So then if they go to anything that's not ideal, that's when they struggle. Do you know what I mean? So they take a step down because there's only down from them places. Do you know what I mean? There's no it doesn't get any better. So they're always kind of going downwards. So if they have any kind of I don't know what the word is, like if you have any kind of pushback against them, they tend to not be
hardship.
Yeah.
And I think that's a norm across every sport or industry. It's kind of the guys who come from nothing and have nothing tend to work harder want it more, and the old eye of the tiger situation, you know.
No.
And you definitely have that. But you've proven it, you know. As I said, the size of America, the player pool they have, the size of the world, and you're getting offered a scholarship to go to Oregon State, which is one of the biggest and richest colleges in the world, let alone the States, is a huge achievement. So you should be very happy with that. But it's only I know it's only a stepping stone for you.
Yeah, no. You're constantly looking at what's the next thing you're gonna do. And when I came home there, I was just talking to Dad. We were talking about what is next, you know, and it's whether we're gonna stay. If I was to stay in America after I leave college and turn pro, or come back here, and it's just all but it's a bit early yet to decide. But they're the questions I'll be looking at next, as opposed to what college, you know. It only feels like yesterday that I was looking at what college I was going to.
Crazy, how quickly time flies. But listen, it's a great problem to have. You know, this time next year, Rodney, you know. When my dad was joking, your dad, I think it was last year, he's going to have to start putting the part of the garden aside for the helicopter pad, you know. But that goes to the territory. But just on that, we're touching on the mindset. Like, what's your approach to training? And we touched on it yesterday about the physical, the gym side of it. You do gym for two different reasons, and your opinion on, you know, the different types of golf players, guys who are meatheads and then guys who stay away from the gym. What's your perspective on that? On
gym life with golf, you know, there's a lot of different perspectives on it, but what I think the main one is as you said yesterday, you were saying it, and it's the most resonant one for me, is that when you're in the gym, it gives you a confidence and a happiness that you don't really, it gives you kind of, it gives you a little edge over someone who's not in the gym, I think. Not necessarily take apart the performance of it and whether it actually makes you better at your sport. It gives you like that little edge that even if it's not, there's a placebo effect there where you think you're doing better because of it. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're working hard every day, at least you think you're doing everything you can. If you're sitting down on the couch watching Netflix of an evening that you should be going to the gym, then you know, like that eats in at you, and when you go out to play in a competition, then you're not remembering all them hours you put in the gym that maybe aren't affecting your game, but they're affecting your head. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most important things, is the gym gives you it helps your mind. Do you know what I mean? It makes your mind stronger. And then there's obviously the actual gym that helps your performance. I think it does help your performance with stability. In golf, your swing is the most important part. You know, there's a lot of things moving at once when you have a golf swing, and the more you can stabilize and the more you can kind of make everything solid, the better it's going to be long run. And you were emphasizing the importance of flexibility for that swing. Yeah, flexibility is huge today in golf. Like the main golfers are all hugely flexible. We have a yoga, we do yoga in college, which is big. I think it's not really coming in here this side of the pond yet, but in America yoga's big with golfers, and like it's where all the speed, all the power you see, it's not coming from the gym. I know people think that's what it is. Like Tiger Woods has this kind of he's had this image effect where people think like, oh, like he hits it so far because he's big and he's strong, but he hit it further when he was 17, 18 years old, and you see videos of him and he was like a whippet. Do you know what I mean? Like he
Yeah.
was skinny and he had long arms and he was just
Yeah.
super flexible. And actually, what his going to the gym has done is actually slowed his swing down, if anything. But it's made him. He had so much flexibility and speed that he didn't need more. What he needed was that stability from the gym. Do you know what I mean? But that flexibility is one of the huge keys to it with golf today. Like all the new guys coming up are hugely flexible and hit the ball miles. You know what I mean? Because it's just such an advantage if you can do that.
Yeah, and where does that fit in? What's your schedule like now for someone who doesn't have a clue, is into golf, but would like to know what the life of a collegiate scholarship golfer like yourself in Oregon State does day to day?
Yeah, no, we like on a day. Well, we have lectures every morning, which is they have to be done too, you know. So you get up and you go to your lectures, or you don't get up and go to them, one or the other. But you have lectures from 8 o'clock till 11:30 most mornings, or 9 o'clock depending on the day, and then you.
And what are you studying?
I'm doing advertising.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, you're doing advertising right now. Advertising the Thomas Mulligan brand. You're
Yeah,
doing a good job.
yeah. Advertising and business, yeah. But no, yeah, we have lectures, and then after that you come home, get some lunch, and then you go straight to the golf course, and you'd be on the golf course from 1 o'clock, 12:30, 1 o'clock till 6 o'clock in the evening, and then you have workouts or yoga. We have that like 3-4 times a week, depending on the time of year. But so yeah, like you go straight from class generally to the golf course, and you 5 hours, 6 hours a day, depending on what time your workouts are, as I said, and then that's Monday to Friday every week, like every day. It's just that's what you have to do, and then weekends we have off. You can do whatever you want, but the nature of the beast with golf is you have to stay on top of it. You know what I mean? You have to kind of keep practicing, and like I know friends with a lot of other athletes over there who are maybe runners or who take the weekends off because they need that time to rest and recuperate. But if you take the weekends off with golf, you're gonna get behind the 8 ball very quickly. So you have to stay on top of it. So you do a couple hours each day on the weekends and play 18 holes or just make sure you're not falling behind with that. And then yeah, that's generally a week. We don't have workouts on the weekends, but again, most people get one more workout in on the Saturday or the Sunday night, you know, just to make sure. Yeah. It's all about the more you can put in, the better chance you have, I think, anyway, you know. I think like most people who have done well in life, it's because they've worked hard as opposed to gotten lucky. Like
Floyd Mayweather would say, hard work, you know, over and over again, you know. And
that's what it is. You can't take a day off, especially not with sport. It's so cutthroat at the top. Like if you're close, if you're thereabouts, it's the finest margins, and then a couple hours extra practice you put in on a Sunday night is crucial to.
That's for sure. There's absolutely no substitute for hard work.
No.
You know, and
you know that as well as anyone.
I do. Yeah, it's as you said, it's a meat market. Professional sport is an absolute meat market. But you know, all the difficult shit, the peaks and troughs, when the good stuff happens, it's where it only happens for a little bit. You enjoy it for maybe 24 hours, and then you're back in the trenches again. And you're doing that, like even now you're back. The weather is absolutely miserable here in Ireland at the moment, but you're out nearly every day late on Bettystown. Yeah, just trying to keep it taking over. That's what we were doing. I was out there today, but it was really bad. But I was out there today, and the last few days it's been miserable, as you said. But you have to just keep playing. Like you have to keep doing it, or else it's just such an out. Once you go back over, then you're playing catch up. So it's just even a little bit here and there. Like that's what I don't know. You know as well as that. Like if you just do like half an hour or an hour, like it's better than doing nothing. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's even for your mind, as you said.
It's just, for your mind. Like that's exactly that's the main thing. You know what I mean? Like how much I practice today is not going to affect me in 6 months' time. Do you know what I mean? But just for my mind to keep for tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? To make sure I keep like having a good attitude about it. What I do today affects me tomorrow. Do you know that kind of saying? But yeah, no, that is one of the main things. And
it sounds like you don't have much downtime. But when you do switch off, what do you like? What do you do?
It's not a PG answer. No, I don't know. I like to read. I read books a lot. In my downtime, listen to podcasts. Listen to
Limor, of course.
Yeah, listen to Limor. Yeah, big shout out to
You'll be
Limor.
listening to this repeat over and over again.
Yeah, this is becoming my new ringtone. But yeah, no, that's what I don't know. You just watch Netflix, anything at all.
Yeah.
What
are you watching on Netflix at the moment?
That new show Maniac. Have you seen that now?
No.
It's with Jonah Hill and Emma Stone.
Oh yeah. There's an experiment or something.
Yeah, psychology experiment. Yeah, I watched a couple of episodes of that, and then I don't know, all the usual.
I just finished one last night, binged it with Mother, The Last Kingdom, about the
Vikings.
Vikings.
The Vikings. Yeah, I've seen episodes. There's so many of them though. I got so wrapped up in Game of Thrones, I couldn't get back into another one that has the same sword fighting and stuff. It's just. They're so good. The TV shows today are just ridiculous. Game of Thrones is probably the best one I've seen. I love it, but there's just so much entertainment going on today. It's impossible to stay on top of it all.
That's something I'd love to do, is actually go on the Game of Thrones tour up the north.
Up the north.
Have you done it?
No, I haven't. No, Mum done it, but I say that to people over in America. We watched the last season there last year when it was coming out or whatever. Or it was out already, but a few of us hadn't watched it, so we watched it together in the house. A couple of lads, we lived together, and I was like, oh yeah, all this is filmed 2 hours up the road from me back home. But, no one has any idea. It's all filmed.
You live in Westeros?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Winter's coming, John.
Yeah.
But
it's actually on that note. It's a few months ago. We went up to Dad, as you know, he's on the Broward City Status campaign. Get a plug in there. But they did a stunt up in Dublin where they went outside the Dáil, and they got a guy to dress up like Oliver Cromwell, and they had to get the outfit, and it was proper.
Anyone knows
big nose warts on his face. But he was wearing the helmet and he had the sword and the armour and all that, and it was a perfect exact replica, and they had rented this from a guy who makes swords, and he's an armourer.
Yeah.
And
have you ever felt the weight of one of them swords?
Oh, it's unreal.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even lift one of them up. But yeah.
Well, this one was actually the fighting sword. Depends on the type of sword.
Yeah.
And this is so. Dad asked me. He said, "Listen, can you drop this back to the guy we rented?" I said, "No problem." It was up in Monaghan, so I was like, "Jesus, bit of a drive." But I went up anyway, and turns out this guy is the fellow who makes all the swords for Game of Thrones.
Oh no way.
Yeah. So that was awesome. I went in, and he's a big, massive safe. And the safe is full of guns, replica guns and muskets and all that for the movies, because he makes all the guns for movies, and he's one of the only guys in Ireland who has a license for black powder, so cannon and all that. And he's on movie sets and he looks after all the weapons.
Yeah.
And I come in and he opened the safe and was showing me all the guns, and I was fascinated by this, the weight of those muskets as well.
Yeah.
Let alone the swords. And he goes to me, "Do you like swords?" And this guy's I'd say he's in his mid 70s maybe. Looks like Santa Claus, big white beard and the little
that's
round
exactly
glasses.
what I was picturing.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, his workshop toys.
Yeah.
But he goes, "You like swords?" And I go, "Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm interested." He says, "Wait there," and he brought out Ice. Do you know the one, Sean Bean, the man who gives the sentence must carry it out when they cuts the head. The giant sword, the actual sword he brought out, and that thing weighs an absolute ton. It's almost as tall as me, long sword. And then he brought out a few other ones. He had the Tywin Lannister's sword and the Hound sword.
That's
and
mad, isn't it?
Your man, what was his name?
The Mountain.
No, not the Mountain. Lord
Baelish.
No, he was head of the Night's Watch. He got killed. He was Mormont. Lord Mormont.
Yeah.
Who gave his sword, which became...
the whole thing.
He gave it to Jon Snow, that actual sword as well. And there, he used to say... The one I was most surprised with was the Hound sword, because it was almost as long as the execution sword that Sean Bean has, but it was as light as a feather.
Really, yeah.
And as you said, one is an execution sword. It's just used to basically chop heads off.
Yeah.
Where the other one is one force, one fighter. Yeah. But absolutely fascinating, and it was really interesting because he made 2 or 3 of each sword.
Yeah.
Throughout they'd be used in different scenes, and the swords, what they're worth, I wonder, is absolutely. And he lives in this little cabin in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Floats them on eBay, probably.
Well, this is the thing. I was like, "Do you have a spare? Can I have this?" That's it. And
it's dying out. That
it is. And that's why I thought the exact same thing. I said, who's going to take this over?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You know, I'd love to be an apprentice, but I don't have the time. You know,
yeah.
to go up and do it. But he actually, the millment is a big cannon on millment.
Yeah.
And he was behind getting that made. It was actually forged in Leeds, I believe, in the armory over in Yorkshire.
Yeah.
And they brought it over, and he was saying, like, it's a real cannon.
Yeah.
Like, you
So,
could put
like,
a
it would
cannonball
work,
in
yeah.
it, and he said you could hit the mouth of the river from millment with the cannon.
Yeah.
And during the summer we were up there, and there was an exhibition, and the boys fired it, obviously blank. I said, will you just fire just one cannonball?
yeah. See how much damage you can do.
See what happens, you know.
One cannonball.
But really, really interesting stuff. But yeah, so you're here for a few more days, spend some Christmas, then you're back over. How long does the flight take you to get?
It's 11 hours to San Francisco,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna spend probably a day or two in San Francisco, and then drive up, which is 8 hours. I normally fly up, but spend a few days in San Francisco, so we're driving up then, which is a bit of a hike up there, but it's not too bad.
Yeah.
No, it's maybe 6 hours, depending on traffic.
Yeah, and you've got a good social network.
No, it's good. Like had this mate over there, girlfriend, and
you have a girlfriend now?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, no. But shout out to Kaylee there. Yeah, she lives just outside San Francisco, so I'll be staying with her for
She's a Yank, is
a
she?
day or two. Yeah.
How you doing, Kaylee?
But yeah, no, she's from Santa Cruz, so I'm gonna spend a day or two with her and then drive up. But yeah, no, it's great. Like, she's there, and then I've got loads of mates, and I have a close friend of mine from New Zealand, and you know, the Americans as well, all of them.
All of them, really. Can't leave out the Americans.
But yeah, no, it's great. Like, it's like anything, you know, if you go in with the right attitude, you'll make friends and you'll get on well. If you go over there and kind of go, oh, like, Ireland's so much better than this. Like, I have so many friends back home. Like, what am I gonna do when I come over here? Like, if you go over with that attitude, you're not gonna get anywhere. Like, whenever you do something, whenever you move to a different country or a different place, you need to have an open mind and realize, like, yeah, like, your friends back home are always going to be there, but you do need to take that step. And, like, I don't know, there's people I've seen who come home and they say, oh, I was homesick and stuff, but, like, fair enough. Like, if you don't want to be over there, you don't want to be over there, but, like, it's just, I don't know, I think it's a foolish kind of mistake to come home on the basis that, like, oh, like, I couldn't make friends. Like, you can always make friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's such a big opportunity. Like,
It comes down to the same old thing. If you really, really want to do something, you'll do it.
yeah, exactly. And if you don't, you'll make excuses to why you can't do it.
Yeah. So right before we finish up, where we're at, we're 32 minutes. Do a Conor McGregor, Mystic Mac. What do you want to do? What do you see yourself doing in the future?
Look, turn pro after college, and then on the PGA Tour for as long as I can. That's the goal, you know. You can say, like, win majors and win this and win that. You just don't know, but, like, as long as I can get onto the PGA Tour and give myself the opportunity to play with the best players in the world, just that's what you want to do, you know. You want to test yourself against the best players in the world, and that's what I want to do in the future, you know, just see how good you can get, you know what I mean, because you don't know until you try. So yeah, I'd like to just see how good you can get. And with golf, there's a tangible kind of list, you know. You got rankings, you know. If you get into the top 100 in the world, you get into the top 100. It's not like rugby, like where it's kind of someone's opinion of you that kind of can sway a lot. Like, if you shoot the scores, you top 100, you're top 50, you're top 20, you're number one. Do you know what I mean? And there's that. It's a clear ladder to success. So I'd just like to see how I can test myself against all them.
And win the Irish Open in Baltray.
Oh yeah, win the Irish Open in Baltray is the main one. Forget all that.
That's all bullshit.
Yeah. Made all that up, but that's the one I really want. Yeah.
And right, we'll finish on this question, right? Drive for show or puff for dough?
Drive for show all day long.
There we go. If you had said anything else, I would have been disappointed. Right, Thomas, absolute pleasure. Thanks for taking the time, and I'm sure we'll do this again next time you're back.
Yeah, I'd love to.
There you go. Good man. Stop. There you go. Stop recording. I'll publish. Oh my God, this is